Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the white coat ceremony at the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine for the class of 2026. I would like to thank all of the family members and friends who are joining us in person or virtually this evening. Your student, as well as the faculty and administration, appreciate your being with us. And together, we share a great sense of pride about our exceptional students in the class of 2026. At the outset, I'd like to recognize some of our leadership groups within the organization. These folks will play a very important role in the growth of our students over the next 4 years. Scattered throughout the auditorium and on this stage are chairs, deans, and selected members of the faculty and staff. Will you please all stand? Thank you all for being here. We're glad you're able to join us, and thank you. You may be seated. Next, Dr. Aubrey Knight, Senior Dean for Student Affairs, will come to the podium to explain the history of the white coat ceremony and share a little bit more about the class of 2026.
Thanks, Dean Lehrman. The first white coat ceremony was held at the College of Physicians and Surgeons at Columbia University in New York in 1993. Inspired by the vision of Dr. Arnold P. Gold, a professor of pediatric neurology at Columbia, who was concerned that students were losing their connection to the human element of care. The purpose of the ceremony is to clarify for students that a physician's responsibility is to both take care of patients and to care for patients. Providing a ritual to mark this passage of the students into our medical society is as old as the Hippocratic Oath itself. Dr. Gold felt it important that medical students should be provided with well-defined expectations and responsibilities appropriate for the medical profession early in their education and training, prior even to contact with patients. This is what inspired the Arnold P. Gold Foundation to advocate for and sponsor the white coat ceremony, now held annually at most medical schools in the United States. In this ceremony, the white coat becomes not only a rite of passage, but also a symbol of the profession itself. So, as you have your freshly ironed, pristine white coats placed on your back, may this not only serve to remind you of this next stage in your journey to becoming an MD, but also as a reminder of our responsibility, all of our responsibility to the health of the patients who seek us out. The class of 2026 white coats have been donated to your class by Dr. and Mrs. Richard Wardrop through a grant they have provided. Sarah and Dick are graduates of Virginia Tech. Dr. Wardrop was on the faculty of VTCSOM as the school was envisioned and started. He recognizes the symbolic importance of this event and wanted me to welcome you into this honorable and most human of professions. The 32 women and 17 men who make up the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine class of 2026 and who will receive their white coats tonight represent 49 incredibly bright, accomplished, and motivated students out of a pool of almost 6,900 applicants and 286 interviewees. The class represents 16 home states and include 12 who call Virginia home, as well as 11 from California. They attended 33 different undergraduate schools, including 4 from the various campuses of the University of California, 3 from Yale, and 3 from Virginia Tech. 19 have earned graduate degrees or postbacks. What brings them together is their common desire to become the best physicians they can possibly become. It is that desire that has attracted them to the unique and challenging curriculum offered here at VTC. They are here tonight ready to publicly state, through the taking of an oath and the symbolism of the white coat, that they are committed to the next important step in their quest to becoming worthy of the title Doctor of Medicine. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce tonight's keynote speaker. Each year, we seek to identify a white coat speaker who has distinguished themselves as an exemplar of humanistic practice. This year is certainly no different. Dr. Michael Nussbaum is Senior Vice President, Professor, and Chair of the Department of Surgery at Carilion Clinic and VTCSOM. Dr. Nussbaum's bachelor's degree was from Northwestern University and his medical degree from the Perelman School of Medicine at the University of Pennsylvania. He completed his surgery residency at the University of Cincinnati Hospital. Dr. Nussbaum came to Roanoke in 2013 from the University of Florida College of Medicine, Jacksonville, where he was an endowed tenured professor and the chief of the Division of General Surgery. He also was chair of the Department of Surgery, surgeon-in-chief, program director for the surgery residency, and the Advanced Gastrointestinal Minimally Invasive Surgery Fellowship. Prior to going to Florida, he held numerous roles at the University of Cincinnati, including interim chair for the Department of Surgery and program director of the surgery residency. He was a tenured professor of surgery, vice chair for clinical affairs from the Department of Surgery, program director for the Minimally Invasive Surgery Fellowship, and chief of staff for the University of Cincinnati Hospital. Dr. Nussbaum is a nationally recognized expert in the area of gastrointestinal, endocrine, and minimally invasive surgery, and brings with him an extensive background in education and leadership. He served as director and senior director of the American Board of Surgery. He has been the president of the Ohio the lifetime of surgeons. One of the proudest accomplishments of my career was serving on the Carilion Clinic and VTCSOM search committee that resulted in the hiring of Dr. Nussbaum. He's a master surgeon, a respected leader, and a student advocate. And on a personal note, he is a friend, a trusted colleague, and a mentor. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Michael Nussbaum.
Well, thank you, Dr. Knight and Dean Learman, for inviting me to participate in this very special tradition. I'm honored to be included and add my congratulations. Speaking for the faculty, we all look forward to playing a part in your education during your time at VTC. This particular ceremony, while only popularized in the last 30 years, recognizes the importance of your commitment to professionalism as you begin your educational journey in medicine. Further, today we celebrate the connotation that is implied to your patients when you are wearing a particularly recognizable uniform. The white coat is also a symbol and reminder to you of the responsibility that you assume for the care of your patients when you are wearing this garment. Numerous studies have shown that most adult patients prefer that their doctors dress professionally and wear white coats. I recall my initial white coat as a first-year medical student. There was no ceremony like we are experiencing today with family, colleagues, and friends in attendance. We newly minted medical students were instructed to go to Dolby's Medical Bookstore on Spruce Street in West Philadelphia, where Helen Dolby, the daughter and granddaughter of the longstanding proprietors, would provide advice and sell us stethoscopes, otoscopes, black leather bags, tuning forks, reflex hammers, blood pressure cuffs, and of course, she would measure and fit us for our brand new, crisply starched white jackets. The first time that I wore that jacket, at least in public, much like you, it was the autumn of my first year, and I was learning how to perform a history on a hospitalized patient. We would don our coats, feeling like imposters, and go over to the hospital where we would meet up with our history-taking preceptor who would direct us to a patient room to take a history. My first patient was an elderly woman who had been hospitalized with congestive heart failure. As I was compiling her list of symptoms, dyspnea, orthopnea, pedal edema, angina, all really brand new words that I had recently learned, and her extensive list of medications, I was so nervous and overwhelmed at first, but then over time, I began to feel more comfortable and confident in my white coat as I gained more knowledge and experience. In residency, we were given white pants to go along with our white jackets. It was then that I learned another important reason for the white clothing. That is, with enough bleach, you can get most stains out of a white uniform. The white coat ceremony is attributed to Arnold P. Gold. Actually, the first ceremony was held at the University of Chicago, but it was Dr. Gold who took that and popularized it at Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons in New York. And it's continued to this day. And it's been an introduction to the expectations and responsibilities inherent in our profession as students begin their medical education. Today, such ceremonies are ubiquitous for new medical students worldwide. And it is truly a time for both reflection and celebration. In the long history of medical care, the white coat is a relatively new garment for physicians and really heralded the age of enlightenment in medicine around the middle to late 19th century. Early physicians were priests and holy men who wore priestly robes. In those days, much of medical care was reduced to providing comfort, usually by nurses, as is still true today, and prayer by the physicians, since there was little else that they could do. So the priestly attire was certainly appropriate in that day. Surgeons at the time were a separate and lesser class of provider, relegated to addressing wounds, stopping bleeding, draining infections, and removing necrotic or infected limbs. They dressed in garments reflective of the working class barbers of the era. Over the last several centuries, the clothing of physicians and surgeons transitioned from robes to dark coats, signifying their formal, solemn roles, much like members of the clergy transitioned out of their robes. For surgeons, this was particularly beneficial since the dark color hid the many layers of blood and body fluids that would become caked onto these garments in those early days of surgical care. Frequently, surgeons would leave their favorite black frock coats in the surgical theater and would put them on prior to performing operations such as amputations, removal of tumors, cutting for stone, or drainage of abscesses. The degree of soilage on their coat was a source of great pride and a mark of their surgical prowess and success. Military surgeons would need to be able to roll up their sleeves while attempting to retrieve bullets and shrapnel from the depths of the injured soldiers on the battlefield. At these surgeons' request, tailors began to fashion military and suit jackets with working or surgeon's cuffs, much like the cuff on my jacket here, to accommodate these needs so they could unbutton their sleeves and roll them up and get into their patients and retrieve the bullets. To this day, surgeons' cuffs remain synonymous with carefully crafted, high-end, custom-made suits. So picture with me the Thomas Eakins 1875 painting, The Gross Clinic, with Dr. Samuel Gross and his team at Jefferson Medical College in Philadelphia, all in their black coats, operating on a young man with an infection of the tibia. The frightening depiction of the brutal and bloody procedure was not well received by either art critics or the public at the time. With the advent of anesthesia and the eventual, if somewhat reluctant, acceptance of Joseph Lister's principles of antisepsis, the white coat became the symbol of enlightenment and cleanliness for both doctors and nurses. By 1889, when Eakins painted his second medical masterpiece, the Agnew Clinic at the University of Pennsylvania, Dr. David Hayes Agnew, his assistants, Nurse Mary Clymer, and the patient are all clad in white. As medicine became more scientific and less mysterious, the pureness of white for physicians and nurses signified the transition, and the white coat became the symbol of medical authority and respect. Patients view the white coat as a symbol of compassion, wisdom, and hope. In that context, today we are bestowing these coats on each of you as you begin to take up the profound mantle of professionalism, learning, and patient care. Along with your journey, as you grow into your roles as physicians wearing white coats, you learn many other life lessons. I would like to share with you some of my own personal lessons that I have gained over the years. At the completion of medical school, your name will be followed by the suffix MD. MD doesn't just stand for medical doctor, it also stands for makes decisions. During the next 4 years, you will be presented with much information as well as the tools to help you ponder daily decisions required to care for your patients. It is impossible to know it all, and the practice of medicine is truly that. It requires practice and discipline. What we hope that you will learn in your time at VTC is that medical school and then residency are where you learn how to learn medicine. You will never stop learning and growing. According to the legendary UCLA basketball coach, John Wooden, is what you learn after you think you know it all that counts. Clinical decisions are based on knowledge, experience, and data, which is frequently incomplete. At times, you will be faced with situations where you are lacking in some or all of the elements, rendering decision-making difficult. Just remember that good judgment is a result of experience, while experience is sometimes the result of bad judgments. When providing medical care, we trust that we will improve the health of our patients. We offer our skills and our experience while believing in our teams and ourselves. We trust our judgment and treatment plan. We execute, we anticipate. We usually are successful, and when complications arise, we manage them responsibly with compassion and persistence. An important tenet to remember are the 10 two-letter words of leadership and responsibility popularized by the artist William Johnson. If it is to be, it is up to me. Dr. Moses ben Maimon, also known as Maimonides, was a 12th century philosopher, astronomer, rabbi, and physician who was one of the most prolific and influential scholars of his time. He served as physician to the royal court of Egypt. He authored 10 medical textbooks, and his writings on the art of medicine and the role of the physician are as germane today as they were over 800 years ago. According to Maimonides, the risk of a wrong decision is preferable to the terror of indecision. So be bold and decisive. In closing, I leave you with a final message to always remember that your patient is a person with loved ones, dreams, and aspirations. It is easy to get caught up and at times overwhelmed by the responsibility of caring for others. Quoting Maimonides again, the physician should not treat the disease, but the patient who is suffering from it. As a student and future physician, never lose sight of the people who have entrusted their lives and the lives of their loved ones to you, regardless of their means. Strive to make your best decisions on their behalf and wear your white coats with pride and confidence. Congratulations.
Gosh, thank you, Dr. Nussbaum, for the words of inspiration and the connection to not only the future for our students, but to the histories that are so relevant to our humanistic role in medicine. You provided very important insights about the meanings of a life in medicine. They're as relevant for all physicians and surgeons as they will be for our students throughout their careers. There's much to celebrate today, and we hope that each of our students will take in this moment and feel the joy of this occasion. We also hope that your sense of celebration and meaning will transcend today and accompany you with the coat throughout your careers in medicine. Wearing a white coat means many things to our patients and the healthcare community. In keeping with that spirit, our students have had several opportunities to hear from seasoned physicians about the meaning of the white coat and have been asked to write essays or poems describing what receiving a white coat means to them. Past classes have reflected on the white coat as a symbol of respect, trust, and humanism. They've shared personal stories of their journeys into medicine. Students from the class of 2026 also reflected on the responsibilities, opportunities, and identities represented by their white coat. There were poems, essays, and visual arts. Some emphasized the beginning of an identity. Some connected the white coat to a personal or family history that preceded this new journey. Here are some excerpts highlighting the richness of these reflections. More than just a jacket. Wearing a goal I have been working for and continue to work towards. A symbol to provide answers to those who feel in the dark about their own diagnoses and treatment plan, as doctors have done for me in the past. It should not carry the weight it holds to others who see it, separating the cared for from the caretaker, a barrier, professional but not personal. With this code, I strive to work alongside my patients, understand their history, help them overcome their pain, and give them autonomy over their care, just as my physicians did for me. Another essay spoke of struggle and empowerment. The white coat I will be receiving signifies much more than a moment of pride in myself and my accomplishments. It represents the struggle that many immigrants face when working to provide better lives for their families in the United States. It represents the selfless determination many parents exhibit in order to work toward the goals of their children instead of their own. It also represents the great responsibility I feel to provide care for these same individuals, many of whom often feel unheard in the medical community. By doing my best to provide culturally competent care to these communities, I will provide a safe space for my patients to freely voice their concerns and problems. I look forward to having the opportunity to help them in their journey of empowerment through health and to work with them to alleviate additional stress from health burdens they may have. Another student offered this reflection. The white coat allows me to push boundaries, break barriers, and pave the way for future generations. This white coat is for all those ambitious kids who aspire for something more, for my mother who sacrificed so much to get me here, for my older brother who supported me along this journey, and for my father who will never get to see me wear it. My white coat is a privilege. The next reflection speaks of gratitude and responsibility. The white coat represents an opportunity to create change. It represents the sacrifices, the courage, and the perseverance to impact the communities we serve. It represents a step closer to bridging the gaps that stand in the way of helping disadvantaged populations. The white coat also represents something much more personal to me. It's a constant reminder of my mom and all of the people and experiences who have made me who I am today. It reminds me of all of the challenges I had to overcome to get to a place I could only once dream to be. It is a reminder of all of the moments of struggle and doubt, a reminder of all those times spent studying while others visited home, and it's paid off. It's for all of those people out there who had to be the first in the family to figure out this difficult journey. You will make it. Just keep at it and never give up. This white coat will continue to be a reminder for me that I am capable and that I belong. It is a representation of lifelong learning and will hopefully continue to be a reminder one day in the future of how far I have come since then. It is a reminder of all the people who have helped me to get where I am. This is for them. I am grateful and I am blessed. And this final essay reflects a shared connection to purpose. To me, the white coat is a symbol. It symbolizes the commitment I am making to my patients, my colleagues, my community, and myself. I have wanted to become a physician for as long as I can remember, and only recently have I begun to understand the gravity of this commitment. Having a, quote, dream career and working towards a goal can feel uncertain, but these words are becoming more grounded in action. Over these past 8 weeks, we as a class learned what the white coat means to different physicians. We as a class worked with our first patient in the anatomy lab. We as a class had our first standardized patient experience assuming the role of the physician. We as a class have truly taken the first steps in this journey to serve others as physicians, advocates, and people. The white coat is an incredible honor. I look forward to earning the responsibility and trust granted to those who don a white coat. I cannot be more confident that this is my purpose. These examples from the class of 2026 signify the remarkable thoughtfulness with which this class has begun their journey into physicianhood. We hope the class will have an opportunity to look back from time to time on their reflections and update their growing understanding of becoming a physician. In addition to their individual contributions, it has become a tradition for each class to develop a shared set of guiding principles. These principles will act as a compass for the class to follow during their time as medical students, through their residency training, and through the arc of their careers as physician leaders. I would like to introduce you to the class of 2026 President Alyssa Z. and Vice President Carter Gottschalk, who will read the class's guiding principles. Alyssa and Carter, please step forward.
Hello, everyone. To my classmates, I just want to congratulate you on surviving block 1. We made it. And then furthermore, I want to welcome all of the family and friends who have traveled far and wide to be here and those who are joining us virtually. We appreciate you supporting us. We wouldn't be here without you and at times tolerating us. Over the last block, we asked the class to fill out a survey about what the white coat means to them so that Alyssa Z, our class president, could formulate our class's guiding principles. Some of the overwhelmingly recurrent themes we noticed were an emphasis on our humanity, our diverse background, but shared passion, and our closeness as a family of students. This unity will guide us as we learn how to use medicine as a tool to improve the lives of others. Every day, I look around and I'm reminded of the greatness that surrounds us. I'm honored to be your vice president, your classmate, and your friend. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our class president, Alyssa Z, to give us our guiding principles.
We, the class of 26, believe that our commitment to medicine is a commitment to our humanity, is a commitment to the relentless pursuit of knowledge, to seek the impossible goal of mastering the body and mind alike so that we may help others, to learn so that we might educate, and to study so that we might bridge the gaps that appear between medicine and the people it is intended to serve. To be a physician is to commit to a career in the service of others, to the betterment of our neighbors and communities, and to help others live to their full potential. To take on difficult tasks so others might not have to. To be a physician is to work with our patients and to be unequivocal in our pursuit of what is right. The class of 26 firmly believes that achieving our goals will require us to embrace our humanity, not abandon it. That we must recognize and celebrate our strengths, our weaknesses as much as our strengths. We believe that the strength of our class comes from our diversity of skills, backgrounds, and experiences, and that it is our responsibility to champion each other. That our commitment to support each other and seek support will be what allows us to succeed as students, future physicians, and as individuals. Our class recognizes the significance of the challenges ahead, but hopes that our unity as a family of students will allow us to grow together and create change greater than the sum of our parts. Thank you.
Good evening. In our profession, it is a custom established more than 2,000 years ago that no one may be admitted to its honors who has not first expressly undertaken its obligations. In a moment, we will take an oath that in its original form was written by Hippocrates. Ours is a modern version of that oath written so long ago, but is applicable today. As the students prepare to recite this oath together, let us take a moment of silence to each humbly acknowledge all those who have come before us and who have dedicated their lives to this noble profession and to the people it serves. To all those who have taught, supported, and encouraged us in order that we could reach this present moment. And to all those, in particular, our teachers and our patients, who will help us become physicians of excellence in care and caring. And now, in that same spirit, let us together, all physicians in this audience, whether faculty or family members, along with the students of the class of 2026, stand and recite the oath that you will find in the program. I swear to fulfill to the best of my ability, judgment, and with the support and encouragement of others, this covenant. I will respect the hard-won scientific gains of those in steps I walk, and gladly share such knowledge as is mine and those who are to follow. I will apply for the benefit of my patients all measures appropriate, avoiding those twin traps of overtreatment and undertreatment. Practice the art of medicine as well as the science, remembering that warmth, sympathy, and understanding may outweigh the use of scalpel or drug. I will not be ashamed to say, I know not, nor will I fail to call my colleagues when the skills of another are needed. I will remember that I do not care for a patient alone. Rather, I am part of an interprofessional team, all of whom offer their skills to assist with patient care and caring. I will respect the privacy of my patients, for their problems are not disclosed to me that the world may know. Most especially must tread with care in matters of life and death. Recognizing this awesome responsibility must be faced with great humility and awareness of my own frailty. I will remember that I do not treat data or disease, but a sick human being whose illness may affect family and economic stability. My responsibility includes these related issues if I am to care adequately for my patient. I will prevent disease whenever I can, for prevention is preferable to cure. I will remember that I remain a member of society with special obligations to all my fellow human beings whose sound of mind and body, as well as the infirm. If I do not violate this oath, may I enjoy life and art, respected while I live and remembered with affection thereafter. May I always act so as to preserve the finest traditions in my calling. May I long experience the joy of serving those who seek my help.
As the students prepare to receive their white coats, I'd like to take a moment to explain the coding process to all those in attendance. When their name is called, each student will come to the stairs to your right, my left, your right, yeah, to be coated with their white coat, symbolizing the embodiment of the values that as they set forth on this next stage in their professional development. On the lapel of their coat is a pin from the Arnold P. Gold Foundation, which contains the words, "Keeping Healthcare Human," reminding all under their care that the wearer is committed to providing medical care that is as compassionate as it is of high quality. In the pocket of each coat is a note of encouragement from one of the past graduates of VTCSOM. They will then proceed to this table and sign the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine oath book on the next available line, acknowledging their commitment to the words and the spirit of the oath they have just taken. As they leave the podium, as they walk across the podium, Dr. Pauly will present you with a gift from the Humanism in Medicine Club. So let us begin the coding ceremony. Rashitha Animola. Caroline Beeks. Kelly Guttel. Lily Brower. Grace Casado. Brianna Chang. Sabri Kanda Yassim. Daniel Creighton. Sydney Den. Alex Dogan. Alexis Stoviak. Yavuz Jamaz. Elizabeth Ganger. Elizabeth Gilliam. Carter Gottschalk. Mayadot Hameta. Lucy Honeycutt. Justin Howe. Adriana Irizarry. Zachary Johnson. Anna Karp. Lincoln Karchner. Uma Kalavkar. Parsa Kaksar. Niju Kathioda. Katie Lee. Charles Leneve. Marina Lovachkina. Roger Lung. Varun Mishra. Sophia Montes. Snigdha Dantipati. David Ogburn. Christian Ostrowski. Arthi Prabhakar. Ruthie Prabhakar. Bree Rhodes. Juliette Suen. Alyssa Z. Colin Tanchenko Ocampo. Kesha Tyagarajan. Jessica Urbanchek. Jacqueline Erdang. Katie Vogelin. Dana Wang. Abby Wah. Bradley Weaver. Janelyn Wong. Isaiah Yim.
Well, everybody, on behalf of all the positions here today, it is with great pride and abundant expectations that I formally welcome the Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine's class of 2026 to our profession. Will the class please stand and be recognized? Yes, please turn around and look at everyone behind you. You may be seated. A lot of pride, a lot of love. That's great. Thanks again to all of our guests for joining us tonight, witnessing the oath that our class has taken and promising to support them in the challenging and fulfilling odyssey that lies ahead. At this time, I would invite you to make your way through the back doors of the auditorium to a reception being held in the atrium. We ask that the class of 2026 remain where you are for a few minutes so we can get a group photo. Everyone have a great evening. Thanks so much.